I don't know, like, I'm super new to this whole coaching thing, so if there's anything that we should be
Totally
doing before
fine.
that.
No, no, you're good. I wanted to give you a sec to get questions out of the way, but we can do it all with the gameplay.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
what level is this
Attackers
game out?
incoming in 30
So this is
seconds.
like I think it's high silver, like 1900. But
Sure.
oh, actually, yeah. So what's happening is that I started playing like about a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
ranked mid silver initially, then spent a couple of seasons in gold, got to low plat, and then
Okay.
dropped this season from low plat to high silver. So I guess I'm just wondering also what the hell is happening.
Sure, sure. So,
Yeah.
and that wasn't
Not,
after a break, that just happened, right? Like that was
no,
while
no.
you were playing? Go ahead.
Which break?
I'm
Then there
saying
was I didn't.
there was no break between low plat and falling to silver, right? You just played during
No,
that time?
not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
I just find myself playing worse for I can't pinpoint the reason, which is I guess why. And also we did a tournament with friends and
Mm-hmm.
that went okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess yeah.
Okay, that's fine. It could be tilt that's going on. It could also be that you sort of adapted to a certain playstyle. You picked up certain habits that work well for you in plat, but you aren't actually like understanding. You don't internally understand why you lap. What would a good example of this be? Like hitting a certain Valk timing, for example, could work in plat because you
Mm,
recognize that your team is going to push faster, or you don't recognize that your team is going to push faster, but that's the timing you've internalized. But that timing is too fast for silver, where you push the
yeah.
button and then like your team doesn't do anything for 4 seconds, where you could sort of get away with pushing the button earlier in plat because you're not actually doing the best job reading it. Again, I don't know that this is it specifically, but that's the type of adaptation I'm talking about that can be like,
Mhm.
wait, why am I going down in SR? Well, because you fell a little and you sort of need to not like play the game differently, you just need to read stuff better. Like the correct timing for Valk is the correct timing for Valk. It's when your team is ready to push. But like you can read that wrong and get away with it better perhaps in plat than silver. And I'm just making that one up.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is until we see some gameplay.
Attackers
Yeah.
incoming.
Payload in motion.
Okay. So you have yourself a Pharah, your support partner is an Ana, Doomfist, Sigma. Okay.
Like
Let me get you patched up.
Okay. So this is fine. Not sure why we're no beam here, but that's not a big deal. We swap over to the Sigma. Fair's about to be relevant, but isn't quite yet.
Let me get you patched up.
And that's where I lose her. Yeah.
Yeah, so did you just decide that she was too far away, or did you just
Let me
lose
get you
her?
patched up.
No, I think I just lost her and then decided to fly up to her as soon as I realized that she's doing things.
Okay. Okay.
Which I guess is also which is somewhat a misplay because they do have a hit scan, and I guess that could be punished in a way, but it didn't, so that's fine.
It's fine, because if you look at this, what you're going to do is you're going to Guardian Angel to her, and you do have the ability, if you Guardian Angel this right, to do a little bunny hop past, and then sort of fall in the direction and slide along this roof, right? Like, how's their hit scan going to
Interesting.
punish you type thing? Like, yes, there's threats, there's concerns about the hit scan. We haven't figured out exactly where the hit scan is yet, but yeah, you don't need to be terrified of the hit scan by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you do. You land over here, so you have plenty of aerial stuff to play with. Perfect. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should say also that we had a flanking Moira on the enemy team that kept trying to get Ariana, which
Okay.
I think she did successfully a couple of times, but this got me quite distracted as well from helping her because we didn't really get any peel from tanks
Sure, sure.
at this
But
stage. Yeah.
that's the thing. You're going to be the first line of peel. Support's first line of peel is always going to be for each other, especially when you're playing a main support like Mercy, Lucio, Brig. So, like, this is normal. You're just, I mean, it's not necessarily normal that their Moira tries to backline, but you going, hey, I'm going to peel the Moira, the Lucio, the Genji, the Tracer that showed up. Yep, that's fine.
You needed a doctor?
Okay, so I didn't really want to go up here. Like, I look at this, and I go, there's times when it makes sense to sort of do floaty stuff, and there's times where it doesn't. And you're clearly doing slow fall float stuff here, and yeah, there you go. You let go. We don't want to do that. We want to tuck in here pretty quickly. Even though she's right above us and scary, in here is going to be a fair amount of safety. She's not going to want to drop for you. Okay. Did you communicate that you were resing this? Did you call for, resing, anything along these lines?
No.
Okay. So did you do this because you saw so this happens, and the Ash shot you last time you went here. Did you just see that you went, hey, I'm trying to do this. The Ash just shot me, I don't like that. Oh, but now Pharaoh just got the Ash, so now I can go back and res? Is that what happened?
I mean, I don't know if I was looking at the kill feed, but I did realize that Ash was no longer there, which is why
Okay.
I went for the res. Yeah.
Okay, that's the ask, so that's good.
Yeah.
Damage boost engaged.
Thank you.
Right idea.
Sterben nicht. Performance levels. Healing stream engaged.
Swap Dana. Oh, why did we let go of Anna?
Not sure.
Oh, because she actually got eliminated there. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. And that's me spamming fallback, yeah.
Yep.
Damage amplified. Verstanden.
So you tell me, what's the faster out here? Is the faster, like, taking one
The
step
Sigma?
forward? Is the faster... Yeah, the Sigma. The Sigma's the faster out than doing this.
Verstanden.
And this is just more time in what's potentially the enemy sightline. Because if the enemy had rounded this corner, we don't want to get caught. Okay, but
Fair
now
enough.
you've got Valk, so you are looking for a good fight to Valk. You are looking for a nice clean 6v6, something resembling an even fight.
Heroes never die.
Okay, so
Heroes never die.
we're hitting Valk here, and why don't you talk me through this Valk?
Honestly, I think the only thing going through my mind at that point was we almost have 6 people. We're about to rush in. Doomfist is already rushing in, and I'm working on my Valk usage to Valk before the fight, not when it's already lost. So I
Sure.
just pressed Q,
Okay.
I guess.
So, unfortunately, I'm not sure I agree with your assessment of we almost have 6 people. Like, yes, Valk is one of those things where you want to get the timing right, but if your timing is wrong, you'd prefer to air slightly early as opposed to slightly late. But I look at this, and we see where your Pharah is, right? Your Pharah is back in the spawn room. So, your Pharah is not really almost here. And the other thing I see is these guys aren't really forced into this fight at all. It is very easy for these guys to retreat here, right? Like, they're set up around here, and if you do this Valk fight, if you Valk right now, well, maybe they'll give up the choke, but it's going to take like half of your Valk time for these guys to just sort of give up the choke and back off. Basically, what I'm saying is this is too early. Like, I see that Doomfist is low, but the solution to Doomfist being in trouble is, well, Mercy's really good at helping one
Yep.
person. Like, that's no problem. So I get that. And I would like, to use Valk this fight, yes, but this is really so far early at this point where it's like, hey, these guys are like, who's your Sigma going to challenge while Valk's here? I guess he's going to walk forward and challenge their Sigma. Your Anna, sure, whatever. Your Reinhardt is using Pin, and then he's going to walk over here and go fight like this. Like, if it's as our Reinhardt is going, hey, I'm rounding the corner, pushing in, if it's when your Sigma has a powerful angle like this, like, it doesn't have to be your Reinhardt's already swinging when you hit Valk, but I'd sure like your Reinhardt to be, like, just having started his advance type thing. Like, and even if the opponent is further back, like, let's pretend Sigma's not here and Reinhardt's there. It could be I'm leaving this cover, Reinhardt's walking, and here I Valk type thing. Because Reinhardt is clearly walking in, and the opponents, it's sort of expensive for them to leave this spot. Whereas here, it matters if they give up this spot, but I don't know that they have to give up this spot to just a Valking Mercy and Doomfist, and that's really all that's threatening them up here. So, like, unfortunately, I do want to hit the Valk. I do want to hit the Valk a little early rather than too late, but this is just too early. And do you
Way
do you
too
sort
early.
of see
Okay.
why? Okay,
Yeah, that makes sense.
cool.
Where does it hurt?
And it's cool that Pharah got the elimination here, but this is sort of what I'm talking about, where we can see our Valk happening, and like your whole team is back over here. And yes, this Moira is just doing silly things, so that's great that
Oh
we're
my
gonna
god, I just noticed the
right.
Moira.
It's great that we're gonna get that, but this isn't really what we were thinking about or planning for. What we're planning for is more these two fights, and like your team's still
Yeah.
like you're Valked and your team is still back here. Like your team is still playing passive. Now, fortunately, they're gonna, I hope, take this out. Sleeping target gonna get punched by Doomfist into a wall, and that'll help. But like you see this, we're using your Valk. We're a third of the way into your Valk, and your team isn't even rounding the corner yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Where does it hurt?
Gonna hurt. To the left. Yep. Melee that dragon. It'll kill it. Okay, so now we're going to get into just movement tech a little bit. What we see here, hey, this Reinhardt, we can't really afford to res Doomfist right now, can we?
No, but what I did here was I think I waited till Ryan was at least half and then I res Doomfist. I do remember that I was resing him here.
Yep, beautiful. I don't have an issue with you coming over to here, and I don't have an issue with you healing up Ryan and then going for the Doomfist. That's fine. This I have a bit more of an issue for. What are you getting by being here versus being here where you were before?
Huh, very good question. Interesting.
Okay, so over here you've got safety against the team. The team would have to push in and rotate, break the corner, round the corner like that. Whereas over here, you got to see like, oh look, there's enemies over there, and I can see them, and that's kind of cool. So like, it's kind of cool for your curiosity's sake to know what the enemies are doing. But I prefer being alive to having the curiosity answered in
Yeah.
most situations. And you can heal the Reinhardt from here. Even if Reinhardt goes forward, you can peek for just an instant and reclose the angle to keep the heals on him. It'll stretch, it'll go through the wall for about 1.2, 1.3 seconds there. So not a big deal, but you're sort of risking your own life here for no meaningful benefit.
Interesting. Yeah.
Continues. Let's get you back out there.
Interesting. Okay, so here we are. We hit our res.
The battle continues.
And this is, Reinhardt's going into the middle of the enemy team, right?
Yes.
So I'm actually
If you are.
I'm actually okay if you're going, hey, I sort of want to damage boost his pin because maybe that matters. Who's he pinning? Is he pinning? Doesn't matter. So if he was pinning a tank, damage boosting him might matter. Like, hey, plus 30% damage is nothing to scoff at here. But even if that's what you're doing, did you really want to go past this fountain? Because if you stop
Why did
here, you can tuck back behind the fountain and sort of have options of what you then go do from here. If you go like this,
Let's get you back out
like,
there.
what is your escape right now if you start taking damage?
That's actually a good question because I don't think I actively plan escape routes whenever
Sure.
I fly into things.
Sure.
Which
So
isn't, yeah.
So generally when you're thinking about flying, or guardian angeling to people, you either want to guardian angel in such a way like you did back here, where you sort of go, I guardian angel to the targets and can immediately get behind cover. And the usual way to do that is the bunny hop. So you hit the guardian angel, you're on PC, yes?
Yeah.
So you hit the guardian angel and then you hit your jump
And
key and you
space.
sort of go past for the little bunny hop, and then you have cover against the opponents. The other option would be, hey, you're going up to your Pharah in the air and you could stop at any distance from her. You could bunny hop past her, maybe. You could stop short and just sort of float, but you sort of have the sky as your protection, or you can find aerial cover to use as your protection. And then the last sort of option is, hey, someone's actually passed and you can just guardian angel like this. You can guardian angel like this. And you want to go generally like past the fight into cover if it's available. Or, I mean, that's kind of the thing. You want to go past the fight into cover, or you want to stop short so you can peek behind cover. But you sort of want to stay to the side of the fight rather than in the fight if that's an option. And you're sort of to the side of the fight right now because the fight is really taking more place in this direction than it is in this direction. So you're sort of to the side of the fight, but like they control all the cover coming in from here, don't they?
I guess like that is a big problem of mine that I do end up just G'ing into the fight with no like kind of then what plan. Like I
Right.
just GA because I can G, and I think that comes from the fact that whenever I watch like a high level Mercy player, I
They
see them
move a
just
lot.
Move a lot, exactly. And I think I'm trying to imitate that in a way, but I end up getting myself into very dangerous situations by doing so. So I
Yes.
guess like my big question is where's the balance between moving a lot but also not doing what I'm
So
doing, which
you
is just
have to understand
yeah.
why they're moving a lot. Because even though they're moving a lot, I can pretty much promise you that they're not just moving a lot. They're moving to places like here, like you did here. Or, oh, let me go to the Anna and then let me hop and scoot in here type thing. Or, okay, let me Guardian Angel up to the Reinhardt so I can boost him for the pin and then let me stop my GA here and tuck here. And then I know where all my targets are and the instant something happens, I GA back to this or I GA up to this. Like they're tracking where all their people are, and the reason that they're moving is to minimize danger to themselves, but more importantly, to maximize the offensive value of their team. They're going, what needs
Mm.
the damage boost the most right now, or what needs the peel the most right now? So they're thinking about, okay, is my Pharah in an aggressive position? Great, I want to be damage boosting her. Is my Doomfist about to hit slam on someone because they're tracking their rollout? Great, I'm going to swing over to my Doomfist and be damage boosting because the beam will stretch a bit as he goes for that big slam uppercut combo, and the damage boost will hit breakpoints to make that eliminate people rather than leave them at low health, needing the little fist bump punches there. Oh, is my Ashe about to throw TNT? Let me get there. My Reinhardt's pinning? Let me get
Hmm.
there real fast. So, like, they're looking for meaningful abilities or aggression to boost, but they're also thinking about where is everyone? Like they have a mental image of where all of their teammates are basically at all times. So they're constantly ready to turn in GA out of trouble to the next teammate. If I look at you right now and someone jumps you, you can't really go to, well, maybe. You'd have a little bit
Prefer
of a
to play
hard
back to Anna.
you might right. You
Yeah,
might be able to get back to these guys, but this is the sort of thing where it's like, this isn't amazing type thing. You sort of put something between you and them. Usually, you'd have stayed back here, or you'd have scooted a little more, and then you'd have mentally made a note that Anna's there, so you can go to her the instant something looks bad. Make sense?
that makes sense, except I don't think I was making that mental
Sure,
note.
sure.
But yeah, good
Damage
point, good point.
amplified.
Okay. And that would have been, like, hey, sure, we can sit up here for a moment, no problem. Let's sit up here and decide what we want to beam from up here. But
I think I was trying to, but I didn't get there.
all good.
Yeah.
I need healing. My ultimate is
Fair should give you peek up or poke opportunities here.
Greetings.
get back.
Where does it hurt? I'm here.
Okay. Did we lost our Pharaoh somehow there? That's unfortunate. Okay, so I didn't have any desire to be here. Like I look at this and go,
Rocket barrage.
I don't like the Moira, but you've got the Pharaoh from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get anything by getting closer to this Pharaoh?
I think my big thought was trying to get away from the Moira while also not losing track of my Pharah.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so like this is a kind of situations where I don't know what the hell to do
Sure.
except for the thing that I'm doing. So yeah, if you
Sure.
have suggestions, yeah.
No problem. So Moira's not going to take you down very fast, and there's more opponents here. You don't know exactly which opponents. You don't know that this is specifically a Hanzo, perhaps, but like this is the direction that the enemy's spawn come from, and this is the direction they're generally walking out. So you expect that there's generic enemies over here, right? Even if you can't tell
Mm-hmm.
exactly which ones. So we're healing or boosting our Pharah right now, and healing is a fine choice. I prefer healing, in fact, with what you're doing. That's a totally fine choice. This Moira isn't hurting us yet, and if we Guardian Angel over to here, we put ourselves in who knows how much danger. Right now, we have cover against this. We have cover against this. We don't have cover against the Moira. Moira's not terribly damaging, and if Moira actually gives us trouble, we can drop this way to join our team, right? And this is relatively safe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd actually look at this and go, hey, it's cool and all. I could drop this way to protect my team, or I could scoot further into here. Like, I can just go, hey, let me scoot further into here. My beam will stay on Pharah while I'm here, right? Like, my beam will stay on Pharah for 1.2, 1.3 seconds, even while a wall breaks line of sight. So I can just walk into here, and now my beam can connect, so no more timer on it, and I'm safe from this Moira. I'm not forever safe against this Moira, but this Moira has to spend more time walking forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like both of these options
Yeah.
are better, then I'm going to go here where who knows how much trouble. there is here. Like, you're putting yourself in the middle of the lane, and Pharah might have to do that to get her barrage off, but you don't, right? Like, your thing is,
Mm-hmm.
like, you have this beam, it can go through walls, it can be stretchy sometimes, you can change what you're doing with it. No, 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 I'm quite good from here, or boosting her until I don't like the situation with Moira, and then leaving over here. Both of those are totally fine with you, and it's more than fine with you, because you sort of are going, hey, I'd like Pharah to get value, and then I'd kind of like to drop and res this, right?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Healing stream engaged.
So you lost Pharah. I'm not worried about the fact that you lost Pharah. This res is impossible. I mean, it's not actually impossible, but like, again, this is too scary. There's too much here. Maybe now there's
Mm-hmm.
not because the Ash and Hanzo are here, but like, I wouldn't have expected ahead of time to get this res. Whereas this res, this felt pretty doable.
Doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what I do here, actually. Let's see.
Pull out the
Oh,
pistol and
I
duel
panic.
Moira. Yeah, there we go.
No, I'm running away.
I've got you.
Okay, bravely run away. There we
Okay.
go.
Let me get you.
Oh, but yeah, I remember this. I die here.
That's fine.
Do something!
This Moira.
She heard you get through silver by just diving the backline.
Damage boost engaged.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's right, but it's what she heard.
Get you back out there.
I mean, I think there is like a high-level Moira streamer who does that, isn't there?
Let's get you back out
Oh,
Does
it
the
can.
backline and...
Yeah, it can be done. Okay, so this is fine. We're deciding that we want to heal our Ana. Did we want to get closer to our Ana here? Or were we perfectly fine going, hey, we're here,
No.
healing this,
Let's get
healing
you back out
Pharah?
there.
You can heal Ana from here, and you have cover available if, like, Moira or anyone else shoots at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we like that. Again, we don't just like Guardian Angeling to people for giggles. We like going, I know where my cover is. And if we Guardian Angel to people,
Yeah.
usually we're Guardian Angeling out of the lane. So, like, this would be the primary lane. But we don't want to go into this lane. This is a second lane. If you think of Overwatch, most of the time the maps are designed with 3 lanes. You've got 1 lane here, 1 lane through main, and 1 lane here. And getting out of the center lane is generally good, but, like, clearly this lane is occupied and we don't want to be here. So instead, we're just going to chill back here and heal her with the option to go behind cover.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is okay.
Schaden verstärkt.
And it's healed to full. Sigma's going to be healed to full. Where's your Pharah?
No idea.
So your Pharah's up top. It's a little harder to
Oh,
see on my
okay.
screen than it was during the time. But for all you knew, your Pharah was back here type thing. And the point that I'm getting to is what we want to replace some of your I just got a Guardian Angel APM with is we want to replace that with, hey, let me figure out where things are thing. Like, remember I said I don't want you to just peek this for no reason because that's needless risk. You don't need to see who's shooting at you. But it is pretty important to know, is a Tracer coming from back there? Is a Doomfist rolling out from over there? Is my Pharah up over there? Where's my escape route? Do I have an Ana back there? You don't have an Ana back there right now. But getting this information is useful and is a good use of your time, your actions, whatever you want to call it. Whereas you going, hey, I'm just staring at this Sigma that I'm healing. Do you need to stare at this Sigma? Like, you have his health bar on your screen even if you look away, right?
Yeah, makes sense. I actually have a practical question about this situation as well. So right now
Sure.
this is a 3v1 Moira who's
Mhm.
already quite low, I think.
Right.
So in a situation like this where my Ana's being, I don't know, staggered or whatever by someone, do I abandon her if she's in a 2v1 situation and push up with the rest of the team who in silver have no idea that my Ana's being dove right now? Because I think like this kind of thing where both healers are focusing on one flanking DPS
Mhm.
Moira leaves the rest of the team quite vulnerable, especially when they're not aware or not in voice chat that this is happening.
Sure. So in most situations, as the main support, the answer is no. The answer is the main support is let me get the flex support out of their situation as quickly as possible so they can get back to dealing with the team. It can be a little different with you because you can create situations where A, you do a fair amount of healing for a main support, and you have the ability to go like help Pharah, for example, which could be a pretty big deal. But for most situations, it would be, no, let me get us out of this situation. Now, it doesn't mean you have to chase the opponents to the ends of the earth, but you need them to stop bothering you or to go away for a bit before you leave in most situations. Now, as
Okay.
Mercy, It's a little more complicated than that. I'm sort of giving you the generic main support answer. The real Mercy answer gets a little more. As Mercy, you are, okay, I have to figure out exactly where to be at each moment. Where can I do the most good at each moment? Then you could absolutely make the decision here of, this is dealt with. These guys don't need help. I'm going to go up here and damage boost the Pharah. That's totally reasonable in this situation. But as a general rule, if your Anna's still in trouble, like if there's still a Tracer, Sombra, whatever fighting them, you'd be perfectly happy to stay here for the extra moment. If this feels very safe though, and this should feel very safe, sure, pop up here and do this because you damage boosting does more good, right?
Okay, fair
Okay.
enough, thanks.
Okay.
Shout, that's
Payload in motion stays in motion.
Let me get you back.
Back we go.
Oh, but Anna did die.
Sterben nicht. His heroes never die.
Okay. So we'll want to talk about this because this is another Valk, so in we go.
Right beside you.
Okay, so I don't mind the res, but if Anna died standing right here, is this a safe place to stand?
Nope.
Okay. Do we
Where
know
is Hanzo,
what got her?
though?
Hanzo,
No.
I assume Hanzo shot from up here, to be perfectly honest. We can check, but that's exactly where she got her from. So
Yeah.
that's fine. That happened. Maybe you saw that rocket went off and you made the calculation of Pharah's tying up whoever's up there. If that's not what happened, could we have hit this res from like over here? Could we have hit this res from over here?
Yeah, I
Just
think this could be safer.
something to make our angle a little more challenging against that. Yep.
Heroes never die.
And then we go for the Valk, and it's not perfect, but we are Valking in a situation where we do have 6 up and we haven't lost anyone. So I'm good. I'm good. I like this Valk all right.
Okay, that's better than the last one.
Yes. You didn't care about your Doomfist. Okay, so this is the sort of thing we're talking about, where I totally get why you're healing. Everything's low health and scary, and we're healing. But now Doomfist is hitting a pretty powerful move here, so you have to make a decision. Do you want to damage boost him right as he connects, even though he's low health, for the extra damage boost, and then flash back to heals immediately, or do you want to stay healing on him?
The thing is, I think the reason I didn't flick to damage boost here was because I thought that the fight I mean, it looked won.
Yeah, you think
So I
you've
figured
won,
that
so you
if-
don't want to take the risk.
Exactly, like he survives and they die anyway.
Yep.
But I think Mercy gets away later, if
Yep.
I'm not wrong.
I mean, her getting away was the tricky thing to solve. That your slam isn't necessarily going to solve here, so that's fine. Now I'd stop healing Doomfist. Excuse me. Now I would continue healing Doomfist because your Valk ended. Your Valk ended right in time. That works out for you.
Oh, and this is another situation I wanted to ask about. I think this is now.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. Let it play out. I'm not sure if
Okay.
this is the
Greetings.
moment. Oh yeah, this is it. So again, I leave the team to help Anna.
You needed a doctor.
Leaving the
No,
team
that's not it. Sorry,
correct
that's not
Anna
it.
is appropriate, and you help her again. Like, you can almost always justify Anna's taking damage, I'm going to go heal her. And the reason you can almost always justify that is because if she uses her nade to heal herself, that's incredibly expensive, and we don't like that happening. Now, you do have to be a little careful about abandoning, like, I don't know, your Pharah is playing hyper-aggressive because they have a Mercy Pocket. That's not what's happening here. But if your Pharah was playing hyper-aggressive because they have a Mercy Pocket, and you just go, oh, let me go back and deal with this when she's not really under pressure and she's missing 30 health. That might be wrong. But most of the time going, hey, I'm going to go peel for Anna, or I'm going to go peel for Zen, or I'm going to go peel for even BAP is going to make sense because it's a fair bit cheaper than them having to use their nade, for example, on themselves there. Exactly.
I'm taking care.
Yeah. So you're definitely jumping around this fight, and we look at this,
Yeah.
and we see this, and we're going to heal Sigma, and Sigma needs some heals, so no problem. Not sure why we went over there,
I'm
but now
taking
she's
care
missing
of
a
you.
little health, and we're out of the fight a little bit. That's great. We're probably damage boosting, not healing now, because she's full health. And we see Farah over there, and we could help Farah, but is anyone paying attention to Farah?
Nope.
Maybe Hanzo is, but we can't see that at the time. So yeah, no one's paying attention to Farah. And that
Oh,
doesn't
but
really work for us. Like, what we just did here is we just sort of put ourselves into danger, and we just did this. Now, if we wait until Winston jumps at us, like, we can be back here and be like, oh, Winston's jumping at me, now I'm going to Guardian Angel away type thing. If you just Guardian Angel, now Winston has freedom to jump on you, and you can't go anywhere for 1.5 seconds, right? So, like, you're not
yeah.
really in danger over here. You have a Doomfist you can damage boost. You have an Ana that you can damage boost. Moira's asleep. Like, you're good. You're pretty happy. And you just hit this button. And it's like, well, if you're going to hit the button, I want it to take you to something worthwhile.
Yeah.
Or I want it to be like, okay, Genji used dash to get to me. Tracer used blink to get to me. Winston used jump to get to me, and now I Guardian Angel away, and they go, well, that's no fun. We're looking a little more for that. Whereas you just sort of went like this. Getting stuck on the car was an unfortunate side effect, but he could have stayed glued to you pretty easily there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he can take you down in, a little over 2 seconds. So if you mess up a 1.5 second Guardian Angel, that's not going to work very well. You're not really going to get
But I
another
guess,
chance. Go ahead.
like, I guess that's also my concern with waiting for the jump or the dash or the blink or the whatever, because I think that if I wait too long, I'm just gonna get one clipped, and then I can't even try to get away.
Oh,
So
sure.
I
You
try to
can.
like preemptively.
Yeah, so you don't want to preemptive. You want to react to it happening, but you can react to it happening. You don't have to wait for him to get to you. You can, as soon as he's jumped, he can't really change direction very much, right? So,
Yeah.
like, you
No,
can just
that's true. Actually,
watch him be,
interesting.
oh, there's a monkey, tumbling through the air towards me. Okay, well, I'm going to leave now. That's kind of the timing that you're looking for. And if you practice that, sometimes you're going to be too late and he gets to you and you get landed on and he zaps you and it's like, whoops, I took 90 damage and I only had 105 health and that's going to be a problem. Yeah, sometimes that's going to happen. But that's going to happen because you're practicing, because you're sort of limit testing, as we call it, where you're figuring out how good your reflexes, how good your reactions can be. But they're going to get better as you specifically start watching for him to use that leap cooldown. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Enemy I require medical attention.
Okay. So I don't mind this. This is fine.
Enemy I require
And this is going to get you out of the lane, and I like it, but I'd kind of be a little more interested in what's going on over here. Like, there's nothing over here, right?
I'm just running away at this point.
Right, and running away is great. But I kind of want to know what's going on even as I'm running away, because does Doomfist need my healing more? Does Ana need my healing more? Does Doomfist need damage boost more than healing? Is there someone right here that needs something? I don't know these things because I can't see, and you can continue to run away while turning your screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you turn your screen, you can change your beam target potentially, right? Okay.
Like the Ana who clearly needs heals there. Yeah.
Right, like you healing Doomfist there was perfectly fine, but you healed him more than you would have if you'd been looking. You'd have either swapped to damage boost or you'd have swapped to healing Diana if you'd been looking, and it would have cost you nothing. And you probably wouldn't have Guardianed back into this. Like, we look at this, and it's like, wait, why do I want to be here? I don't want to be here.
This fight is a classic example of what I think is my major problem, honestly.
All good.
I'm here. Heroes never die.
Okay. We can do it. I think you guys are going to win this fight even without, but we can do it. I'd have probably said, you're right at the end of the spawn point. So what is the status of this fight? You don't usually get this view, but what is the status of this fight?
There's 3 of them. There's 4 of us with 2 healers up, and I don't think they have healers from what I can see. That's Ash up top and Winston. Yeah, it's winnable without. Probably easier one with the Valk.
But I'd say let's use the Valk. And the reason I'd say let's use the Valk is we're much closer to their spawn than ours. And, like, this is a reasonably good push, right? We're not behind in this push. And if we're a little bit ahead, I'm generally still good using Valk. I'm especially still good using Valk if we're... Are we really ahead if we're, like, on top of their spawn and we're, like, 25 seconds from ours? Yeah. So, like, this makes sense to me. Yeah. I'm good with this one. Okay.
I'm here. Heroes
So
never
I'm
die.
good with the
Exact
Valk.
moment for hands.
I'm good with the Valk.
Barrage ready.
But we can just, we can use the Valk as pressure to drive them back, and then maybe we get the res. Maybe we don't, but we use the Valk as pressure to drive them back.
Yeah.
We don't just go, I'm Valk, so I have better movement and faster HP regen, and that'll totally let me live. Wait a second. No, Valk is not that powerful. You can't expect to survive this. You might, but you can't expect to. Yeah, so you should.
No,
you
I
should-
did, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a good res. Okay. This is fine with me. Good.
Damage boost engaged.
Thanks for the
Right, someone called the ambulance. I am operating at peak performance levels.
Oh, there's a really crappy res I'm about to do as
I am
well.
operating
Okay.
at someone called the ambulance.
Does this feel like a good place for a Guardian Angel then?
No, and again, this is the kind of situations where I'm not sure what to do. Like, should I just let them go on their own? Should I stay on payload? Should I...
Someone called the
No,
What do
no,
I
no.
do?
You pushing ahead is fine. Because you can enable people that are going forward. But I don't really want this, and like this happened, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back this way to get out of line of sight, because this is a major lane, and then I'm going to use my Doomfist to get into this lane. So this would literally be a you Guardian Angel up to your Reinhardt. You actually would stop short with that Guardian Angel to put yourself here, where you've got this wall between you and potential. Now, it turns out there's not any enemies here, but this is how you need to be thinking. Like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to stop short. I'm not going to follow my Guardian all the way because I want to have this wall between me and opponents. Then, if Doomfist gives me a peek opportunity, I can Guardian Angel again to follow Doomfist. Like, I don't want to spend any time here. I don't want to spend any time here. That's sort of how you're thinking. Like, if you're spending time here, do you have a cart to hide behind? And even that isn't your favorite. You'd rather spend time influencing the fight from here. Influencing the fight from here type thing. So, we don't really want to end up there. Oh boy.
Right, Sam.
Okay.
And then
So,
you're Anna.
cap off Anna. Yep.
And
That's good. That's good. Cap off Anna. Boosting Winston, I hope? No, excuse me. Wrong
yeah,
game.
healing. Oh,
Okay, we got a drop. Not sure why we slow fault here. Soon as we see that Ash, we're probably just gonna like let go of our slow fall, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the crappy res I'm talking about. I don't know why I did this.
Okay. I don't either, because we look at this and it's like, okay, you objectively know this isn't a good idea. So like you've instantly got to cancel this Guardian Angel because this is too late.
Because, yeah.
And now you actually did cancel this Guardian Angel when if you can't instantly cancel it, you need to complete it
At
and
least
buddy
get to
hop
cover,
past to
yeah.
like run past. Exactly. Worst of both worlds. We don't want to end Guardian Angels in the middle of lanes like this. This is not what we want. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And
No, I mean, this one is, yeah.
Where does it hurt?
I wish that was the end of it, but it's not.
almost. That was almost a reasonable revive. Ooh. Okay.
And then instead of staying behind cover, I just walk up to Bob.
Well, it's a little dicey here because there's an Ashe in this lane, so you do have to get out of here, and you have to get out of here immediately. So, like, that's not bothering me too much because there's nowhere for you really to go. I mean, shouldn't have been in this situation in the first place, but, like, walking back out into here isn't wrong.
Group up with me.
Punching the air.
Hey, why not?
For payback.
Okay, Anna. So, do be a little careful about the fact that she's Anna. How does Anna heal? With a
Shooting
rifle.
or- Oh,
Do
yes,
be a little
okay.
careful about drifting in front of Anna because you did this twice now in the 2 times you've visited Anna in the last 6 seconds, where you've sort of gone in front of her and like from her perspective, this is a little annoying to heal through, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Let's get you back out there.
Okay. Stop short immediately. Okay, you went past. Fine.
Should I have not abandoned the Pharah here?
No, abandoning the Pharah was fine. It would have been cool if we could have made some nice Pharah play, but you do a quick check on your team and you see, wait, things are bad, and things could get bad for your Ana real fast. Your Ana's missing some health. No, it's totally fine to have gone back and said, I'm going to help the team. But you can heal your ball from here, so we should just not Guardian Angel, or we should stop this Guardian Angel here, right?
Okay, I think I die here as well, so that was quite preventable.
Right, because there's no good reason to have gone here. The only thing that's got you is maybe it's now a little easier to get to your Ana. But if you wanted to get to your Ana, you could have beamed your ball from here and then maybe just stepped over here to get to your Ana, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
And this is sort of the same boat where, okay. So I know I've told you to like check your flanks and look around, but it's clear that there's nothing on this flank. There's no enemies showing up, right? So is there any reason that we can't just back up while picking who to heal, while picking who to boost for the rest of this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we want
Definitely.
to be looking like it's rare, but I actually think I need to tell you to look at your teammates a little more often that you're interacting with your staff. You're sort of like, okay, I've got the beam on you, I'm out of here, and it's like, well, hold on, like. Did Ana take more damage? Does she need the heal worse? Because, like, who's actually in more danger of your two teammates right now?
Ball?
Maybe.
In more danger? I'm
Maybe
not
slightly. Like, it's a pretty close call, right? Because Ball has way less relative health than Ana, though Ball has a bigger health pool. But Ana's actually, more in line of sight of the opponents than Ball is right
sure.
now, right? So I don't think either of them are like, oh my god, they're about to get eliminated. But this is the sort of thing where if Ana was at 40% health right now, you definitely swap to heal her. Or if Ball was at 70% health, you'd definitely be healing Ana right now, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Reasonable.
The payload stopped.
Okay, Ana's fine. We do need to solve this problem with damage, right? Okay,
So damage boost Doom would have been smarter here.
Well, no. You had moments where you needed to get Ana up. Like, you're looking at this, and you do need to keep these guys alive. So healing is good. But now we're sort of in a thing where it would sure be nice to cap off Ana. But at this point, I'm looking at this and going, Doomfist is about to do things. I probably want to... Doomfist is going to do more damage than Ana, and I'd like to eliminate this Winston. Like, this Winston isn't that healthy right now, is he? So,
Yeah.
like, if we damage boost Doomfist, and he doesn't miss his shots, that could end the threat much more
The
quickly.
payload stopped. Heroes never die.
Yeah, so how do we feel about this one?
I don't know. I don't even know what is wrong with it and when should I have just left it for later. I guess I should have, but is that a Roadhog who's ulting?
No, that Roadhog is not ulting. He just did a right click.
Not ulting?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. See, that's
Well, let's
no
go with
answer.
the information you have. Let's go with the information you have. Let's put it through one piece at a time. So out here, there's a Roadhog and a Winston. And there's also on your team an Ana, a Doomfist, a Ball, and you, right? Somewhere McCree just took down Pharah. Okay, so that's kind of the information that you have. Is that a fair assessment? Like, yes, I might know a little bit better where Sigma is. I might know a little bit better where their Ashe and their McCree are, but you don't have that level of game sense, and that's fine. So, like, is what I described a reasonable take for, like, what you actually know at this moment in time? Okay, so we look at this and we go, there's 4 of us and 2 of them. We did just lose someone. If you Valkyr and you eliminate someone, maybe your team can push off of that? Like, is this a case of their tanks have pushed out here because their tanks are all that's left on their team, or your tanks have pushed out here because your tanks thought they were winning and your tanks are trying to get staggers?
I think it's the second.
Right. So if the other team thinks they're winning, you're kind of Valking from behind, aren't you? And if we're Valking from behind, that's sort of not generally what we want to do. We want to make even fights better, or make fights that we're slightly ahead in, sort of put them away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because
Yeah.
Valk isn't transcendent. It's not like we're healing 300 health per second or something like that. It's like 60 health per second, which that doesn't really beat incoming damage in messy team fights. And if you are having to
Mm-hmm.
heal a lot with Valk, you're not damage boosting, and damage boost tends to be worth more. I just briefly am
Yeah.
getting okay. So like it could work that you're gonna quickly score an elimination on tanks that have overextended here, but if you do that, you're really just evening up the fight, right? Because the other tank is probably going to get away. It turns out that you've got your Sigma back there. It turns out
Mm-hmm.
that these guys are going to be pretty set, and like, okay, we're then, even if we use the Valk to get an elimination, that's going to let us get back in. The other tank's probably going to get out, and we're going to have to, with our Valk, get from here to here before it's real. How much Valk is going to be left by the time that happens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So it's not really going to have won us a team fight. Like, it might have stopped them from staggering us, but that's not actually as good as winning a team fight, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We sort of need the Valk to be happening as we're pushing out here, where either they're giving us a bunch of cart distance if they don't fight us during the Valk, or we're winning a team fight, which is even better.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow, rush back. Get them off me.
Unfortunate.
The battle continues. We need to move the payload. Let's get you
Oh
back
my
out.
god, I remember this. This is so dumb. I mean, we can just not even stop at this.
Enemy revival.
Okay. So we didn't want to be in here, but all good.
No,
Okay.
no,
But
but I mean, yeah.
you saw how that Valk worked out, where we used it and we were sort of able to use the Valk to get up to about here as a team, which was,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, we didn't really. They weren't forced to fight us, and our Valk was really running outright as we got up to here. So that was something that, like, you can sort of foresee that based on the situation. And again, like, I can foresee it, and it's not like, oh, you need to be able to do everything I can in terms of foreseeing it, but like, it's doable is more the point that I'm making there.
Sorry.
And I think that is something that you could have likely predicted.
Payload isn't moving.
I think I'm typing something here.
Okay, so you're being AFK.
Mm-hmm. No, but I mean, I don't remember what I was saying, to be honest, actually.
All good. Okay, I can live with that. So here we are. You decide that you're going to go up here. This seems like it should be reasonably safe. Maybe not into a McCree Ash team, but reasonably safe. And Coalescence happens. So you're just going to have to go back to your team.
Damage boost engaged.
Okay.
Follow me. I got you.
Swap to Anna.
10 seconds.
Don't need to stare at Anna. Need to find other targets ahead. Yep.
We can do this.
Sure. You're not walking into danger. Good. Don't have any desire to be out here whatsoever. Like, look at this, and I'm good. Does your ball need you desperately right now?
I think my reasoning behind this in game was we have 5 seconds left. Someone needs to contest, otherwise we're gonna. This is just gonna be a round over.
Sure. But your Hammond is alive, so your Hammond is gonna
That's
contest.
true.
Like, that's just, he's gonna do that. He's Hammond. Okay. That said, you're pretty overwhelmed at this point as a team. Okay, so again, we didn't really want to open the angle. We knew where that Bob was. We could have kept this between us and the Bob and us and the enemy team pretty easily, right? This pillar.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if the Winston turns and looks at us, fine. We'll Guardian Angel back to our Anna. Or what we'll actually do is we'll Guardian Angel past our Anna with a bunny hop to put ourselves here, where if Winston comes after our Anna or tries to leap, there's sort of something in the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So obviously we've got a second round to do here. So let's go here, and we'll probably go a little faster because we've laid a bunch of the groundwork of sort of what you need to be thinking about, and we've shown you examples. So I won't slow down quite as much. I'll just sort of point them out, and if you have questions,
Also,
if they don't make sense, just let me know. But go ahead.
No questions. Just like a technical one. I'm very aware that we're at time, so
I'm not worried
we
about it.
don't.
Hello. Hiya. Points in.
5, 4,
Understood.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
So this was a very confusing situation for me actually, because I'm like, Tracer's not doing much. I can't follow her.
Sure. So
So I
you're
just
worried
left-
about who do you play with in
Yeah.
this situation? Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're not actually amazing in this comp is the thing. Like, I'm not saying you can't play Mercy. I'm not saying that, but like neither of your DPS benefit especially well from, let me rephrase that. They would both love Mercy boosts, but it's dangerous for you to be in positions where
Follow
you can
them.
boost Tracer, and Sombra, depending on how she plays. If she plays on like a if she plays as like Sombra 76 and she off angles at like 45 degrees from your team, you can boost her pretty easily and just be like, hey, this works fine. You can boost Sigma okay, it's not amazing. You don't care about your Moira. You don't care. You're not going to be the one spending much time on your Reinhardt. But also, this comp is going to probably do some level of, hey, we have a Reinhardt and a Moira. Those heroes like to stack, and you don't really like to stack, right? You like to be able to fly to the edges, as we've talked about. You like to have poke DPS that are spread out, and that's not really what you have here. So, based on both, having this Reinhardt and having these DPS, you could conceivably go, hey, maybe I want to play Lucio in this setup, or
Lucio?
Zen
Yeah.
in this setup, or something along those lines. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. That's scary. Yeah, I was going to say, you're just sort of hanging out right here, and we've talked about lanes a lot. Well, this is a lane, and we know that this is a sight line, and you're sort of hanging out without any check of, oh, what's going on over here. So like we would want to more be tucked here where we know we have a wall between us and the opponent.
There's the Moira again.
We make a great team. Let's get you back out there. This is not your problem.
This is better, you're playing from the side. This is sort of what we want, where, like, here you are, you're standing to the side here, and this is sort of what we generally want to have happening. You're here, you can see your targets, you can pick your targets. You don't need to be this far out, you can just be here, and you can just pick who you're healing, who you're damage boosting, and like once every 4 or 5 seconds, you can check over here and say, hey, is there something coming that way? Is there something coming that way? Okay, I'm back to picking my targets. That's sort of how you want to be playing most of the time. Okay. Fine. Again, I'm totally fine trying to get back here, but like, there's nothing for you to Guardian Angel to over here, even though you're trying to get around to get on this. So we probably want to be looking this way. Like, again, I'll exaggerate this, but here we are. And I kind of want to see, because if I can see, I can do things like step to dodge these Sigma shots. I can see, oh shoot, there's an Ashe that's about to hit me from there, and I can step to dodge those Ashe shots, or at least to make it more difficult. If you're not looking, you're just kind of hoping that they don't hit you, right? You're not putting any pressure on them to hit their shots by going, hey, I'm going to move that way, I'm going to move that way. Like, you can strafe more effectively if you can see them.
I guess my thinking was just get the Sigma immediately, otherwise he will die.
But you only move 10% faster by walking forward rather than walking backward, and the safety that you put on yourself, or the increased pressure you put on the opponents trying to hit shots, is generally worth more than that 10% speed.
That's interesting.
Right beside you. You should be at the zero of
Oh no. Okay.
I think I died here.
Unfortunate. So you could have avoided the Doomfist, but it was going to be tough to deal with the Doomfist and the Moira there. Oh well.
2 people. Yeah.
Hi. Helden sterben nicht. My ultimate is almost ready. I'm taking care of you. I've got you. Surrender.
Okay.
I will.
Check to the right, fine.
Where does it hurt? Heroes never die. Let's get you back in the fight. Heroes never die.
Okay. So what's the fight situation as you're aware of it?
We're 2 down, keep momentum, I guess. I don't know why I thought it was winnable.
Okay. This is going to be a tough one to win. You might not know exactly where everyone is. You might think that even though 2 of ours are in spawn, maybe 1 or 2 of theirs are on the way back. But this is going to be hard to hold unless you see some other advantage going on, even with Valk. Like, your Valk is only going to boost or heal a maximum of 3 people right now. Like, okay, that matters, but, like, it's going to be tough to hold back 6 people here. Maybe if you also had an EMP going. Maybe if, like, hey, you had a Shatter going. Maybe if you were holding this corner really well or something. But this is one of those things where even though, we might feel like, well, we're going to lose if we don't, you've got a reasonable chance of getting another team fight on this point, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, makes
probably
sense.
worth doing that. Okay.
Fall back. Fall back.
So, was I right to not follow Moira there?
Yeah, you're right to leave. Yeah,
Verstanden.
you
Okay.
absolutely leave. You can leave further, in fact, and you cannot stand in the middle of the lane.
I think.
Minor detail.
So this is the situation that I wanted to ask about. I think it's coming up soon.
Okay.
I think.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, this is it. So I'm not sure what Sigma's doing and how did he end up here. But yeah, like my actions here, I just kind of wasn't sure what to do and was trying to save Sigma and hoping someone would be escorting while
Sure.
this is happening.
Sure. So
Sorry,
this is
stopping. Yeah.
relatively reasonable. Like, Doomfist comes in.
You should be at
Your
peak
Moira's full
performance
health
level.
when you leave her. Like, there's still a Doomfist back here, but your Moira's full health when
Right beside you.
you leave her. And your Sigma's trying to make a play here. Like, your Sigma's using his ult. That's how he ended up over here. He goes off. He can fly when he uses his ult. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're trying to support a big offensive play. If your team is going to be successful,
We win the fight. Yeah.
right. So this is the sort of thing where it's like it's a little scary to be over there. You could get hooked by Roadhog, but if you get hooked by Roadhog, he doesn't. Maybe hopefully neither of those happen. But like, I don't necessarily have an issue with this, and this Doomfist ult you'll avoid easily. So yeah, I don't necessarily mind this. But now you look at this and go, doesn't look to me like we got enough done. I'm just gonna use Moira to get out. Like, Sigma looks like a lost cause at this point, right? So
I don't remember what I did here.
okay. Sigma's totally surrounded by the enemies. He didn't get any eliminations with his flux. So I hope that your thought is, hey, I'm just going to leave through Moira. It is. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, but you stopped short. You definitely stopped short on that Guardian. We could have
Messed up my cooldowns, yeah.
Yep.
I'm taking care of you. Heroes never die.
Okay. So here we are.
Heroes never die.
Valk really is all over the place.
Heroes never die.
What's that?
My Valk really is all over the
Little
place.
bit, because does it look
Yeah.
like you guys are going to stop this cart from capping?
No.
Right, like you don't have anyone close enough. If you had a tank up here, maybe, but like your furthest forward person is Moira. You can see from here that your furthest forward person is Moira. You have to just be aware of the objective distance and be like, oh, this fight is lost. We're playing for third at this point. And I'd really rather have third, have Valk for third to pump the brakes on their push as opposed to this where we valked into this, and again, they're definitely pushing through second here. So now we're doing this. Maybe we can win this fight, but winning this fight isn't even like incredibly valuable.
Don't stop now.
More for Zarya? Nope. Good idea. Good.
Let's get you back out there. I require medical attention. I could use a hand.
Okay. So we look at this.
I require medical attention.
There's a lot of walking for Mercy, but that's okay. We do this. Sure, we see Zarya, and it's totally fine with me if we heal Zarya or boost Zarya. Like, boosting Zarya here is totally fine, but why would we stand here? Like, can't we get Zarya just as well from here?
Yeah.
And if we don't want to
Definitely.
be here, we're just going to Guardian Angel across using Zarya to get to here. So, like, this is the most important thing we want to eliminate from your gameplay. This, like, hanging out in the open thing that happens for you.
Damage increase. I understand.
Payload is
Same thing.
approaching its destination.
Okay. So, looking at this, I think you have a pretty good grasp of things that, you know, or of one thing, which is the Valks. I'm not saying you have a good grasp of the Valks necessarily. I'm saying you were correct in your assertion coming in that Valks were probably a thing to work on. The using Guardian Angel too much thing, I would definitely reframe that, and I would put that in a place of it's not too much Guardian Angel or too little Guardian Angel. It's that when we use the Guardian Angel, we really need to be thinking about where is my safety going to be after I use this Guardian Angel? Like, I'm Guardian Angeling to this Moira, and that's out of the fight. Great. I'm Guardian Angeling, and it's putting me over here. Fantastic. I'm Guardian Angeling, and it's putting me here. No. I refuse to do it type thing. Like, when we're thinking about Mercy and her good targets, we think of people like McCree, like Ashe. We don't think of people like Tracer. And the reason for that is, hey, those heroes tend to take places like this, take places like this, take places like this, and you can go even further and be tucked out of line of sight. With Tracer, that's not so true. With someone like Doomfist or Pharah, at least you can use height as a little bit of protection if you follow them in. So that's sort of how I want you to think about it. I want you to think about this game in your focus for the next like 30 games that you play is going to be when you Guardian Angel, you want to think about how do I make sure I'm never like in the middle, especially of this center lane, in the middle of the lane in general, but especially never in the middle of this center lane that I'm sort of tracing through the map. And you can recognize this. We could do this on other maps, but you've probably noticed that every map sort of has a center lane there. So I want your Guardian Angels to take you to the edge. And that's probably going to be more bunny hop Guardian Angels, but it's also going to just mean paying more attention to sort of where people are. And you want to think, okay, I can Guardian Angel hop and then take 3 steps. Fine. Go do that sort of thing. But like, go do that, and that's going to both increase your survivability, but it's also going to make it easier for you to see stuff. Because if you're standing here in the middle of the fight, it's sort of hard to see what's going on everywhere like that. Whereas when you're to the side, like you were back here, it's really easy to see and pick your targets, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the single biggest thing that I want you to work on. Think specifically about getting out to the side. And then I do want you working on your Valks, but specifically for your Valks, it's just going to be let's start this from a place of you're pressing tab to see how many people are alive before you Valk. There's definitely more we can do with your Valks, but like you're Valking into these situations that are 4v6s, and we want to understand how many people are alive, and we also want to understand how far are we from the fight that actually matters? Because your Valking kind of shallow. Remember, you Valked back here when like the team
Mhm.
fight was sort of here, and you did the same thing on third. So that's maybe a little harder to focus on. And Valks are hard to get right. Don't get me wrong; the windows are small, so it's not too big a deal. But for now, your Valk thing should be, hey, I would like us to Valk when we actually have 5 or 6 people and the opponents have that many or less, and I want to Valk when we're closer to the fight, when the fight matters more. The fight out here doesn't matter if the payload is right here, for example. So I know
Mhm.
we went a little long here, but if you have any questions, if those make sense, if those don't make sense, let me know. I can try to explain them differently. I can, go back and forth on them. Do
No,
you
I
have any?
mean,
Go ahead.
yeah. Sorry, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying, like everything you said makes sense, and I think it's helpful to see it kind of in a broad context because it's one thing to know and another thing to see what I could have actually done otherwise in a game.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and I do agree with everything you said. So thank you for looking
Okay.
over this with me.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, try to use like 5 to 15% of your brain power really focused on improving on this, like getting to the outside, really focused on where you're going with your guardian angels, and do that for like, 10, 15, 30 games to see if you can sort of get that fixed, and not just get it fixed, but like sort of implement it into your autopilot. That's really what we're trying to do when you do coaching like this. We're trying to go, hey, let's make an improvement by implementing it into your autopilot so that brain power is then
Hmm.
free to work on the next thing.
Okay.
Okay. Then
I guess.
go ahead.
Yeah. No, nothing. I was just gonna ask if there's like any other outstanding things that you think are completely ruining my gameplay, or that's the two main ones.
Those are the two main ones. I mean, we could talk about some of those questionable reses. We could always do more micro mechanics in terms of your yellow beam versus blue beam control, but I'm going to be honest, neither of those are as important as those first two things that we're covering there. Like, those are
Hmm.
certainly, I don't want to overload you with work on these 6 things because it just isn't helpful. And also, they're not as big a deal. Like, those will become the biggest deal, the thing holding you back at some point in the future. But that point in the future, your gameplay is going to shift as you fix these first two major things, if that makes sense. So like
Yeah.
I'll upload this. You can go back and see reses that we commented on. You can see like, hey, why aren't you boosting, Doomfist during this slam? Or hey, why aren't you toggling to Anna Bluebeam when she's full health? She doesn't do very much damage, but it's better than healing her when she's full. We could talk more about those things, but I wouldn't want you to spend any serious focus on those until you're doing a better job with your positioning, with staying sort of on the outside, until you're doing a bit better job with your camera control even on some of these things, and then getting your Valks are more relevant. You're not sort of Valking into these, oh well, I feel like I should Valk. Well, why do you feel like you should Valk situations?
Hmm.
Okay. Um
Yeah, that
any
makes
final
sense.
questions there?
No, no, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.